Three, two, one. Okay, guys, it's Maniac here. I just wanted to go over a quick video on Claude versus MiniMax because Claude is by Anthropic, American company. MiniMax is Chinese, so most of the people watching this are probably not Chinese. They might probably majority American. Whether or not you are or not, I'm just going to go over a few things to better inform you. So let's go back to Claude and start with that. Yeah, this tab. Okay, so I use a free plan because I'm broke. I don't got a lot of money and I'm not making money from my coding right now. So if I was making money, I probably would invest in more credits, better tooling, you know. So this is a free plan. You get so many credits every 5 hours. So I don't know. I would say roughly 10 prompts, but really it depends on how big they are, how big your prompts are, and how much data it's returning. So this is the pro one is 20 bucks a month. You get more. And then they have a 5x and a 20x plan. So these are month 20 bucks a month, 100 bucks a month, 200 bucks a month. So I haven't used any of the paid ones, but based on the amount of increase, so this is 5x Pro, and the I think the Pro. I thought the Pro was 5x to free. So now I'm wondering how much more the Pro is than the free, but either way, um, you'll get limited on the free plan from like within like 30 minutes to like a couple hours, and then have to wait a few hours. If you go to sleep and you wake up and it's been like 6 to 8 hours, you're gonna have more free credits. So you want to like reload the page or send a prompt so that it resets your timer, because it's going to be 5 minutes from when you reset it. On MiniMax, they have different plans also, but they have different plans for different services, I should say. So this is the coding plans, which are incredibly cheap relative to Claude. So for 10 bucks a month, you get 100 prompts every 5 hours. Like I said, on the Claude free one was about 10 prompts maybe. So if the the $20 a month one is 5x that, then it's about 50 prompts maybe every 5 hours. So yeah, it's just way cheaper, but there are drawbacks, so keep listening. But yeah, this $20 month compared to Claude's $20 a month, you get 300 prompts every 5 hours, which if you divide 5 into 300, you get 60, which means you get roughly one prompt every minute. So I imagine it would be really difficult to go over on the $20 a month unless you're a hardcore dev. Let's go back to Claude real quick. So they also have yearly ones, which are even cheaper. Okay, so for $20 a month, you get more than the free one, which it's not going to be equivalent to one prompt every minute. Like I said, you might get 50 every 5 hours as opposed to 300 every 5 hours. So definitely you're getting way more. But like I said before, it's a Chinese company, so they do have to abide by Chinese laws, just like Anthropic. Claude by Anthropic has to abide by U.S. laws because they're an American company. So this is the coding plan, which is super cheap. But if you're not just doing coding, then it's not as big of a difference. So let's go to the agent API costs. So monthly, about the same, $20 a month, just like Claude. So key differences here are you get 5,000 tokens a month plus 200 every day. So that's kind of cool. So if you use all your tokens, you can still do a little bit of work every day. The thing I would like to mention about this is you get 200 a day. They give you they give you 1,000 for signing up. So I just tested this out last night. Got my 200 plus my 1,000, 1,200 credits, and I ran out in like 3 prompts. I did spew, like vomit a shitload of code into like the first prompt. So I used like 1,000 credits on like my first prompt. But even without that being said, like I already used my 200 credits for today, so I've used 1,400 credits in less than 24 hours. So if you're going for an agent, it's not any cheaper really. I don't think. Maybe a little bit. Kind of hard to compare, but based on the free versions, I got limited faster on MiniMax. Like the 200 credits is way less than for a whole day. Seems like less than what I'm getting in 5 hours on Claude. So for the free plans, I definitely think Claude is actually better. If you're American, it's definitely better because you don't have the Chinese security risk of the Chinese government basically stealing your data, because they have to give it to them if they ask for it, because that's the Chinese law. So definitely safer from an American or a non-Chinese friendly country. So if you're from a country that is more closely tied to America than China, which probably I think more countries are friendly with America because we have the national reserve currency, or the international reserve currency rather, the U.S. dollar. So if you want an agent and you're not from a Chinese friendly jurisdiction, I would definitely go with Claude. I'm not going to encourage you to have multiple accounts because that could get you banned, but I know that if you did have multiple free accounts, you could definitely get a lot done using Claude. And by the same token or respect or whatever you want to call it, if you had multiple $20 a month accounts, you're going to get if you're only getting unlimited every hour or two, then you have to wait still like 3 or 4 hours before your credits refresh. If you have 2 accounts, then you got like 1 or 2 hours times 2, so you're going like 2 or 4 hours, and you only have to take like an hour break or something, maybe 2 or 3. But even two $20 plans is like you can get an insane amount of work done with that. So let me just flip over to Grok real quick. So I asked Grok to compare them from a security level. I'm just going to read this really fast. If you would like to read it on your own, you could pause the video and read it. So Claude Anthropic, US based, and MiniMax, Chinese based, both operate on the frontier of AI, both significantly differ in security, privacy, data handling, especially from American perspective, which is what I was concerned with. That's why I asked. Key comparison: security, privacy aspects, company jurisdiction oversight. Claude, U.S. company based in San Fran. Public benefit corporation focused on AI safety, operates under U.S. laws. CCCP for California. Potential federal oversight with strong emphasis on export controls and national security. The Anthropic blocks commercial access to China and has accused Chinese firms, including MiniMax, of illicitly, that means illegally, extracting data from Claude via fake accounts and distillation. Attacks in recent reports from February 2026, which, as I'm recording it, is the current month. This aligns with U.S. government priorities to restrict advanced AIs to tech adversaries. MiniMax is a Chinese company headquartered in China, with some operations via Singapore entities for international users. It falls under Chinese laws, including national intelligence law, which can compel companies to assist state intelligence. That means if the Chinese government asks for it, they have to give your data to the government. And data localization. Many Western users and analysts view this as higher risk for data access by the Chinese government, especially for sensitive U.S. related content. Data privacy and usage training. Historically, Claude and Anthropic do not train on customer conversations by default. Key selling point for privacy. 2025 updates. They introduced an opt-in, opt-out choice. Users can allow data for the model improvements and safety with filtering obfuscation of sensitive data. That means like hiding. Or opt out. Data isn't sold to third parties. Conversations are encrypted and in transit and at rest. Strict access controls. Only trust safety team for policy violation. So that means only the trust and safety team can access limited encrypted data for policy violations. Retention, often short, 30 days default in older policies, up to 5 years opted in or flagged, deletion requests supported, strong focus on constitution AI, built for safety, harmlessness, reducing misuse risk. Okay, so those are for Claude, Anthropic. MiniMax, policy state retain data as long as necessary, which is concerning because that means they may never delete it, or permitted by law. So I don't know what the law is, but if the law did say they have to delete it after like 5 or 10 years, then they may not keep it forever. With deletion anonymization after, some services mention zero retention models or opt-outs for training, especially enterprise. So I guess maybe if you pay them enough money. By default, they claim not to use computer data for training when privacy settings are enabled per audits guides. However, details vary by product, e.g. API versus agent, and public info is less transparent than Anthropic. Just want to say one thing. Really? Chinese company public info is less transparent than Anthropic American public info. Really? Not surprised. Shocking. Just kidding. Not surprised at all. Data may be processed, stored in various jurisdictions, including U.S. servers, for some API access with reliance to mechanisms like standard contractual clauses for transfers. Less emphasis on documentation. Constitutional safety models can be more permissive. Open source aspects allow custom alignment to but hosted versions of TOS filters. Broader security risks. Claude Anthropic invests heavily in defense against misuse. Recent features like embedded code, security scanning, they frame risks around national security. Distilled models lacking safeguards could enable cyber ops or surveillance. So they have an emphasis on security. So that's a positive statement. They're saying they're trying to prevent these. U.S. jurisdiction means either recourse under American law if breaches are easier. So you're not going to be able to sue MiniMax. There's like a 0% chance, maybe less than 1% probably that would happen unless it was like some huge class action. and still it would probably be difficult. Whereas if you had to sue Claude or Anthropic for data leak, they're going to be required by American laws to go to court. So MiniMax. Recent events highlight tensions. Anthropic publicly accused MiniMax, along with DeepSeek moonshot, of large-scale distillation attacks using 24K plus accounts to extract 16 million exchanges from Claude, bypassing bans. This doesn't directly mean MiniMax mishandles data, user data, but it underscores competitive geopolitical friction and potential IP security concerns. For U.S. users, the Chinese origin raises fears of compelled backdoor data sharing with state actors, common concern with Chinese tech firms. Though no public evidence of breaches to specific MiniMax and Super API use. Bottom line, American users. Just Claude is generally safer. Domestic company, subject to U.S. privacy laws, easier legal protection, aligned with U.S. national security priorities, more transparent and user controlled privacy options, opt out for training, short retention defaults, strong safety focus, reduces harmful outputs by design. MiniMax offers competitive performance, often at a lower price, as Grok stated above. When I was comparing the pricing, it's often rated as 1/10 the price of Claude, so it's definitely cheaper. And as I showed you, it's definitely cheaper for the coding one, or I should say only for the coding one, because the agentic tools were more on par for cost. I totally lost my spot. Sorry, I'm just gonna start off. MiniMax offers competitive performance, often at lower cost, especially for coding agent tasks. I would say especially for coding, not so much for agent. And its privacy claims are solid on paper, e.g., no default training data, compliance with GDPR-like standards via Singapore operations. But the Chinese jurisdiction introduces geopolitical risk, potential government access under Chinese law. Let me read that again so you don't underscore it. Potential government access under Chinese law. Sketchy. It may be nothing, but there's a possibility that it's something, and you should be aware of that. Less recourse if issues arise, and ongoing U.S.-China AI tensions, export controls, accusations of tech theft. Many U.S. users enterprises avoid Chinese AI private wire for sensitive work due to these factors. So if you're just doing some random stuff with no personal information or no financial risk, it might be fine. But evaluate which one you're going to use based on what you're using it for. So if you need top level security, definitely take that into consideration. Okay, and then this is about the bot I was creating, so if you care about that, you could read it. Otherwise, I'm done. Thank you for watching, listening. I hope that helped you